Musk says success is forced out of you. 3 rocket crashes, Tesla on the brink of bankruptcy. He slept on the floor and cried until morning. How did he make it through? And what can we ordinary people learn from him? Today, let's take a closer look. This video takes you inside the moments when Musk was pushed to the edge. It's not just a startup story. It's also about his family, his life, his obsession with work. By the end, you'll see, Iron Man wasn't born that way. He was carved out, piece by piece, by life itself.
End of 2008. How did you get through that period of crisis?
Yeah. Can we just break for a second?
Sure, of course.
Beundret iværksætter.
Do you want to wait a little while?
Yeah, sure if it was worth it. Sure if it was worth it.
Critics say you can't do this. Your answer to them is,
we've done it.
when you had that third failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
One of the most difficult choices I ever faced in life was in 2008. I think I had maybe $30 million left, or $30 or $40 million left in 2008. I had 2 choices. I could put it all into one company, and then the other company would definitely die, or split it between the 2 companies. But if I split it between the 2 companies, then both might die. When you put your blood, sweat, and tears into creating something, or building something, it's like a child. And so it's like, which one am I going to let one starve to death? I couldn't bring myself to do it, so I split the money between the 2. Fortunately, thank goodness, they both came through.
2008 was the darkest period of Elon Musk's life. SpaceX's Falcon 1 failed 3 times in a row. On the 3rd launch, the rocket was carrying the ashes of a Star Trek actor. It all crashed. At the same time, Tesla was on the verge of bankruptcy. Wall Street had labeled Tesla the least likely to succeed. Musk had only $40 million in cash left. Both companies were burning money like crazy. He fell apart. He said, "I never thought I'd have a nervous breakdown, but I did." Here's a detail most people miss. At the time, Musk was running 2 struggling companies simultaneously. Every day, he shuttled between their 2 headquarters. His work schedule wasn't 996. It was wake up and work until you collapse. Some people ask, isn't that unhealthy? Of course it is. But here's the reality. When a company is fighting for its life, a founder's work intensity is basically a race against death. An ordinary person doesn't need to copy his hours, but you can learn from his prioritization. Even at his breaking point, Musk could still tell. Today, is it the valve issue at SpaceX that has to be solved, or the battery supplier problem at Tesla? He didn't rely on working harder. He relied on working more focused. Everyone pressured Musk to choose, SpaceX or Tesla. You can only save one. Musk said, "To me, that's like having 2 kids and no food. You could split the food equally between them, but then both might starve. Or you give all the food to one kid, increasing the chance that at least one survives, but deciding which one lives and which one dies. I just can't do that." He split his remaining cash in half and put equal amounts into both. Then he injected another $100 million of his own money. On Christmas Eve 2008, at 6 p.m., just hours from bankruptcy, both companies closed their funding rounds. A few days later, Falcon 1 launched successfully for the 4th time. Musk used the metaphor of 2 kids for his companies. That wasn't just a casual analogy. It reflects something deep inside Musk, a unique understanding of family. Musk's childhood was unhappy. His parents divorced when he was 8. He chose to live with his father, but his father subjected him to harsh emotional control. He once recalled, "My father could come up with a plan and then make you feel inferior from every angle." At school, he was badly bullied for years. Once, he was beaten so severely that he was hospitalized. Psychologists would say that what a person lacks in childhood, they often spend their whole life compensating for. Musk didn't grow up in a warm family, so he projected the idea of family onto his career. SpaceX and Tesla became his children. He would never abandon them. What does this mean for ordinary people? We don't have to be as extreme as he is. But ask yourself this: what is the most important relationship in your life? Family, friends, or the work you love? When you have to make trade-offs, the thing you absolutely cannot give up, that is your life's anchor. Find it, commend a friend, and you'll have an endless source of inner drive. Part 3. I often wake up at midnight and find tears on my pillow. 2008 passed, but the breakdown didn't end. From 2017 to 2018, the Model 3 was deep in production hell. Musk lay on the floor, unwilling to join a conference call. The president of Tesla spent half an hour convincing him to get up. The same scene played out 5 or 6 times. He said, "I often wake up at midnight and find tears on my pillow." He compared entrepreneurship to biting glass while staring into the abyss. That's an incredibly painful, vivid metaphor.
A lot of times people think like creating companies going to be fun. I would say it's really not that fun. I mean, there are periods of fun, and there are periods of where it's just awful. And particularly if you're the CEO of the company, you actually have a distillation of all the worst problems in the company. There's no point in spending your time on things that are going right. So you only spend your time on things that are going wrong. And there are things that are going wrong that other people can't take care of. So you have like the worst. You have a filter for the crappiest problem in the company. The most pernicious and painful problem. So I think you have to feel quite compelled to do it and have a fairly high pain threshold. And there's a friend of mine who says like starting a company is like staring into the abyss and eating glass. And there's some truth to that. The staring into the abyss part is that you're going to be constantly facing the extermination of the company. Because most startups fail. It's like 90%, arguably 99% of startups fail. That's the staring into the abyss part. You're constantly saying, okay, if I don't get this right, the company will die. It can be quite stressful. And then the eating glass part is you're going to work on the problems that the company needs you to work on, not the problems you want to work on. And so that's you end up working on problems that you'd really wish you weren't working on. And so that's the eating glass part.
Many people see only the pain in biting glass, but they miss another layer. Glass is transparent. That means Musk was fully aware of what he was enduring. He wasn't suffering from confusion. He chose this path with his eyes open. This touches a profound question about life. What is the relationship between pain and meaning? Psychologist Viktor Frankl, in Man's Search for Meaning, argued that a person can be crushed by pain, but as long as they find meaning in it, they can survive. Musk kept going after each breakdown, not because he's a masochist, but because he believed the suffering served a bigger purpose, making humanity a multi-planetary species and accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. For ordinary people, we may not have such a grand mission, but the logic is the same. When you feel like you can't go on, ask yourself, what am I enduring all this for? If the answer is for someone or something I truly care about, then the pain has a pivot point. If the answer is, I don't know, then maybe you should stop and search for that meaning again. Part 4. How does adversity shape a person? Musk said, adversity shaped me. Why does adversity shape a person? 3 dimensions. It filters people, forces innovation, and tempers will. Here, I want to add a rarely mentioned angle. Adversity didn't just shape Musk personally, it also shaped the people around him. In 2008, when Tesla had only 2 or 3 employees left, who stayed? Those who truly believed in Musk and in the future of electric vehicles. These people later became Tesla's core backbone. This leads to a workplace insight. Hardship is the best filter. In a fast-growing company, it's hard to tell opportunists from true believers. But when the company hits trouble, resources tighten, pressure mounts. Those who voluntarily stay and step up are the ones truly worth developing. Conversely, as an employee, you can use the same logic to evaluate your company. When the company runs into difficulty, does management shift blame, lay people off, or run away? Or do they unite everyone to weather the storm? Only the latter is worth your long-term commitment. Adversity is a two-way mirror. It shows others' true colors. And it shows your own. Musk has publicly admitted that he feels fear very strongly. But his creed is, when something is important enough, you do it even if you're afraid. So you see, Musk isn't fearless. He's afraid, but he chooses to act anyway. That might be the simplest definition of courage. Part 5. This is not a success story. Musk's first ex-wife, Justine, once said, "Extreme success requires extreme personality. Such success comes at the expense of other sacrifices." You don't have to be someone like Musk to live a wealthy, high-quality life. Your odds of being happy are much higher than your odds of being a great figure. Justine is one of the most qualified people to say this. Her first son with Musk, Nevada, died at just 10 weeks old. Grieving, Musk chose to escape through work, refusing even to talk about it. Their marriage soon fell apart. Later, Musk's relationship with Grimes also ended in a breakup. Despite his efforts to be involved in his children's lives, the public often sees him bringing his young sons to press events and factories. Some call it fatherly love. Others say it's using kids as props. The truth is probably more complex. Musk once admitted, "I'm not good at handling relationships." Behind that statement is a man emotionally wounded, who poured nearly all his energy into his career, unable to balance family at the same time. This isn't to excuse him, but to illustrate a harsh fact. Extreme professional success often comes with sacrifices in family and emotional life. That's a human limitation, not a personal failure. For ordinary people, this is a reminder. While pursuing your career, deliberately leave room for your family. Don't wait until you lose them to regret it. Success has many definitions. A happy family is one of them. It doesn't require you to bite glass. It just requires you to show up with care. Part 6. What can we learn from Musk? 3 lessons for ordinary people. After all this, you might feel that Musk's story is powerful but far from our lives. We, ordinary people, aren't building rockets or electric cars. Every day we face mortgages, kids' tutoring classes, the boss's KPIs, and our parents' health. So what can we learn from Musk? I want to share 3 Musk rules for ordinary people. Lesson 1. Break down the big goal into the next small thing. Most people give up when facing difficulty, not because they lack willpower, but because the goal is too far away and the pressure feels crushing. In 2008, at his lowest point, Musk did only one thing each day: solve the most immediate, critical problem. After Falcon 1's third failure, he didn't dwell on how much more money will I burn. Instead, he went through the issues with his engineers, one by one. Valve problem, material problem, or code problem. It's like running a marathon. You can't do it overnight, but you can put on your running shoes today and go for 3 kilometers. The most common mistake ordinary people make is throwing a giant goal like, "I want to change my life," directly onto today's to-do list, and then getting crushed by their own ambition. From Musk, we can learn. No matter how big your dream is, what lands on today's calendar is one concrete task. Write 1 slide. Learn 1 skill. Meet 1 client. Finish that one, then move to the next. Lesson 2. Find your why. Musk can endure the pain of biting glass because he has a massive why, making humanity a multi-planetary species. We, ordinary people, may not have such a grand mission, but you definitely have your own. Why? Maybe it's to send your kid to a better school. Maybe it's to give your parents a worry-free old age. Maybe it's just to prove to yourself that you can. Find a reason that makes you want to get out of bed in the morning. That reason doesn't have to be great, it just has to be real. When you have that reason, you have inner drive. You don't need anyone to push you, you'll move forward on your own. Why do ordinary people so often give up halfway? Because what you're doing isn't connected to your deep why. You work overtime because the boss asked for it. You diet because summer is coming. Those reasons are too weak. Any small temptation will break them. Before doing anything important, ask yourself, why 3 times? If after 3 whys, you still find an answer that makes your blood pump, one that almost makes you tear up, then you'll almost certainly stick with it. Lesson 3. Family isn't about balance, it's about being present. Musk's sacrifice on the family front is a warning. It's not that he didn't want to be a good father. He prioritized work. Ordinary people don't need to make that extreme trade-off. You can do something very simple. Set aside 15 minutes a day, fully for your family. No phone, no work talk. Just listen to your child talk about what happened at school, or take a walk with your parents. Those 15 minutes won't ruin your career, but they will let your family feel that you are there. Psychologists say the greatest source of happiness isn't money. It's high-quality relationships. Don't chase the far horizon and lose the most important people right beside you. Lesson 4. Allow yourself to break down, but after the breakdown, stand back up. You may have noticed, there's no perfect persona in Musk's story. He lay on the floor and refused to take a call. He almost cried on camera. He woke up at midnight with a wet pillow. That's actually his most ordinary side. Many of us have a misconception that strong people don't break down. But the truth is, breaking down isn't weakness. It's the factory setting of being human. What separates Musk from ordinary people isn't whether he broke down, but what he did after the breakdown. He chose to stand up. That day, he lay on the floor, not wanting to join the conference call, but McNeil talked him into it for half an hour, and he got up. The act of getting up in that half hour, that's real courage. For us ordinary people, you can cry, you can lie flat for a while, you can even curse your bad luck, but give yourself a breakdown timer. 1 hour, or 1 night. When time's up, dry your tears and do the smallest thing. Success really is forced out of you. But the difference is, are you passively forced by life, or do you actively choose a harder path? Musk chose the latter. He could have cashed out and spent his days on a beach. But he said, I would be bored out of my mind. He didn't lack an exit, he just refused to take it. Finally, back to the opening question. What can ordinary people learn from Musk? Learn his method of breaking down goals, not his work hours. Learn his persistence in finding meaning, not his sacrifices to family. Learn his resilience to stand up after a breakdown, not his pain of biting glass. We may never become Musk, but we can become better versions of ourselves. On our own tracks. Force out a little more potential. Force out a little more courage. Force out a slightly different life. Thanks for watching. If you've ever been pushed to the edge and gritted your teeth to keep going, feel free to share your story in the comments. Follow me, and in the next episode, we'll keep breaking it down. See you then.